Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I do want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem HaKadosh. Dip on to the apostles, Nels Great Millstone for teaching us His truth, peace, and blessings. To the whole like of Israel, Yahweh is the name of. The Heavenly Father in Hebrew, Ba'Shem is the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Background lesson, and today you're going to be going into this post that I came across. I'll make a quick lesson, speaking on it. Just going to show you who the wicked is today. Just going to show, the mindset, that this devil has, speaking of Esau, Edom. So it says TVP, this is the post that this chick right here is quoting. It says, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos says human water consumption is limiting AI's potential. And she quoted, it says, days without a billionaire saying something purely evil, zero. And it's going to show, they're the wicked. They're the big bad. This is why you see, the things they're doing now, as you see with these ticks that are being released, these mosquitoes these genetically modified mosquitoes that are wanting to be, set loose. Which you have, Google wanting to do that. Especially done with this tick situation where it's able to, take away the person's ability to eat red meat. And all of a sudden you have, I want to say Bill Gates, if I'm correct. If not, one of the big, billionaires, trillionaires. But, he's, pushing the lab-grown, 3D printed, meat, chicken, and all that jazz. So there's, going to swoop in with the so-called solution, to solve the problem that they ultimately had a hand in. But especially dealing with this right here, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos says human water consumption is limiting AI's potential. This is why they're especially wanting to depop this place. And you can imagine the things they're going to do to, further, push this, See what the replies are. People calling this devil out. And hey, seeing them for, who they really are, which is something the devil the Bible speaks of. And to put again as a really the main point, let's go and show you who the wicked is today. He is running this place, into the ground. This is why you get Micah 2 and 10 now. This is not our rest, this is not our kingdom, this is not our rulership. And look at everything this devil is doing. Look at the things, he has been saying, as you especially see right here within this post, that he pretty much wants to limit, people's consumption of water in order to progress, further progress AI. That the people, humanity is, the hindrance. And I'll read this last bit one more time. It says, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos says human water consumption is limiting AI's potential. And it says days without a billionaire saying something purely evil, zero. And it should be to no one's surprise, because once again, they're the wicked. And this is just another example of that, because as soon as I seen that post, it's just the devil for you. I mean, look at the thought process this devil has. Not seeing, the bad in AI. Matter of fact, they see the benefits in it. And they're not going to be, using it for, the benefit of humanity. They're not going to be using it for the benefit of the people. Because you also have people that are calling out, the use of AI, how it's, messing, with, the water supply and, all that type of stuff. But you see, this devil came out and said, hey, the people are the problem. They're limiting, the AI. But this is Job 9:24. Says the earth is in the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the earth, if not where and who is he? So who is that wicked speaking of? Esau, Edom, which is the so-called white man today. One more time from my top. The earth is in the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the earth, if not where and who is he? And now we're going to tie that into Malachi 1:4, showing you who this wicked is speaking of. And like I keep making that point, just further going to show you who's in power today. I mean, just look at the mindset this devil has. This is Malachi 1:4. This is whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished. So showing you who's speaking of. And this is, but we will return and build desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness. So they're literally called the border of wickedness. You know how wicked you got to be literally be labeled, to be called the wicked? Come on. The border of wickedness and the people against whom Yahweh Ba'Shemel Shai had indignation forever. And who's that? Esau, Edom. You did it in the previous verse. Malachi 1:3. And says, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. You also get in 2nd Ezra, I want to say the 9th chapter, dealing with, for Jacob have a love, but Esau have a hated. I just wanted you to grab that main point, dealing with Esau, Edom being called the wicked. As we read Job 9:24, going to show who is in power today, which is the wicked. Esau, Edom. And you can clearly see that. Especially with how he is running this place into the ground. This is why you also get in Isaiah 30 and 1-3 how there's trust and shadow of Egypt shall be your shame and your confusion, because this devil cannot care any less about you. With Ecclesiastes 12:10, and it says, never trust an enemy, for like his iron rusts, so is his wickedness. So it's devil not to be trusted in any case. And that should be, clear, and evident with what this devil is saying. It says human water consumption is limiting AI's potential. So you can imagine the things the devil's going to do. As I already made those points dealing with these ticks that are being released. And you've seen the various problems that's causing, whereas, affecting people's ability to eat meat. You can obviously see how that will affect the animals. You also had this situation dealing with these mosquitoes that they're wanting to release. And they were especially heavily pushing that this is only going to target mosquitoes and it's not going to affect people. And we're speaking of this devil here. The wicked the Bible speaks of is read in Ecclesiastes 12:10, which he's not to be trusted. But they're going to be pushing these things in the name of so-called safety, security, for your benefit. But the devil's a natural large. Psalm 55, Psalm 58, going into it. This is Micah 2:10 says, arise and depart, for this is not your rest. So this is not our rulership, this is not our kingdom, yet you have many of our people that still want to reside within this place. They're comfortable here. They love it here, in fact. And especially when this devil comes out with the 3D printed, lab-grown chicken, meat, whatever the case may be. People are going to be eating it right up. They're going to be first in line. Especially once these comforts, these, what's I'm looking for? Yeah, I'm trying to look for another word, but once these comforts are taken away, when people are seeing they're able to access meat and certain foods and whatever else this devil may do, appear to be jumping at the solution to solve these problems, which this devil's gonna come out with, going to that order out of chaos. I was trying to find another word. But I read the top more times. Arising depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. And one look around should be able to tell you that. So nothing but confusion, wickedness being upheld. You also see, how this place is being ran. The environments, the habitats that these animals reside in. How the devil's destroying this place. Pollution at all-time high. You have deforestation and all these various things the devil does. And they also show you within the movie Avatar. Especially, I believe they call it Way of Water or Fire and Ash. Both of them, really all three of them, they show you what this devil's about. But it shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. This is why we need to get out of here and why this devil needs to be taken out. This is Romans 8:22-23. I mean, look what this devil said. He said people's, consumption of waters is limiting, AI. Yeah, they glossed over the various problems that AI is causing. The amount of water that's being consumed for every prompt or whatever else, as well as just dealing with various other things. But this is Romans 8:22-23. It says, "For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now." So his stuff needs to go. Verse 23, "And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body." You also in Ezekiel 9:4, how we're sighing and crying out unto the Lord for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So we're crying out to the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Mashai, to get us out of here, to destroy this place. Look at the things this devil is doing. This is one example of the things the devil is doing. I mean, look throughout history, all the atrocities this devil has committed, the things he's doing, still to this day. Matthew 24:21-22, one of the main scriptures that came to mind dealing with this right here. Exactly why the Lord is hastening these days. Or else we'd be completely through, as we're gonna further read. And it says, For then shall be great tribulation, such as will not since the beginning of the world to this time, no never shall be, so like times like never before. Verse 22, which is the main point, except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for elect's sake those days shall be shortened. So the Lord is hastening those days for his elect, or else we'd be completely through. We can pray that we're of that hopeful elect. But I'll read this in the NLT. It says, in fact, unless that time of calamity is shortened, not a single person will survive. I mean, look at how this devil is running this place. You can imagine the things this devil would do if he continues to be in power. They've especially been planning to depop this place for a good minute now. What took place back in 2020 was nothing but a example of the things they're going to do. That was nothing but a trial run. You saw how many people were taken out from that concoction, the juice they pushed out. So how much more in these last days when this devil's getting ready to crash out. But it says, but it will be shortened for the sake of the Most High's chosen ones, which are the elect, which we'll pray that we're part of the Lord's will. But that's really it right there, just something, quick to the point. So I kind of ramble on certain points, but I got to tie it all together. So making a quick lesson dealing with that post, things the devil says and how it should be to no one's surprise. Because once we're speaking of the wicked here, the devil the Bible speaks of, and you have people that are baffled, by the mindset that this devil has, especially speaking of the top of the top. And they show you within movies, like for example, Jurassic Park. One of the one of the new ones, but one of the main points where they had pretty much genetically modified locusts, and how it was pretty much going to cause worldwide famine. And one of the main plot points was it was planned for that to happen, or to force people to rely upon them. So they put it in front of your face, and things they're getting ready to do. And this is just one small example of the way this devil really feels, and just their thought process. It's nothing but wickedness, But that's it right there. I don't close out. Give all praise, all honor, all glory to Yahweh. Shalom. See you next one, Lord's will.